What are you looking to do at 10 today? And I know you got to be careful what you say, but
probably gonna draft a player. Hopefully one
yeah.
that I want. But judging how the last two have gone, I'm probably not gonna get him. So that's what it is. I will say this: like the last mock draft we did was not as bad. I didn't get sniped as much, but I'm starting to realize that I gotta be locked in and I gotta be ready. I gotta have a backup pick somewhere because a lot of people have been doing their homework.
See, for me at 3, to me, 3 is one of the best spots you could pick at because I really don't have to make a decision. It's who you leave me with between McDavid, Draisaitl, and McKinnon.
It's true.
Sure, you could consider Kucherov. If you wanted to go crazy and overreach just a tiny, tiny bit, you could take Cale Makar there. To me, it's just you just let who falls to you fall there, and then you start to figure out what you're doing on that 2-3 turn because that's going to be your important picks.
You should just not draft Cale Makar or Kirill Kaprizov. You should just let them fall. Ideally to the 10th and then 15th pick.
I believe he was talking to everybody between myself and Chris and yourself.
Yeah, just let them go. They're not good. They're busts.
They're going to be mediocre this year. There's nothing special about them.
Yeah, it's not like Kirill's at a contract here or anything, right? It's not like that's a thing.
I mean, he's not Jack Hughes in terms of injuries or anything like that. But if he does get hurt again, you do start to wonder a little bit. Maybe he starts to inch into that territory. But, I don't want to put that out there either because, the Wild are counting on him this year in a very tough division as we got 20 seconds to go before the draft kicks off. And number 3 is picking 1. So see what he does there.
That was a good time. Maybe he wanted the 3rd pick, but you already took it from him.
Yeah, that's possible.
That's possible. Well, that was easy.
All right, so McDavid. Oh, I do have a decision to make here. Oh boy.
Oh.
Draisaitl or McKinnon. All right, so because of what I said about left wings before, that's it.
Really?
I'm going to take him over McKinnon.
Interesting.
Why? You would take McKinnon over Draisaitl in that same spot? I'm surprised. Yeah, let's talk about Kucherov going second. 100%.
But Kucherov's a little early, but, Kucherov could also rack up 100 assists. So
there's that. And listen, I get what McKinnon is, but again, because center's deep, if you're giving me a guy that at left wing, we're like, yeah, there's some quality at the top part of left wing, but once it goes, that's going to be my deciding factor there. And then McKinnon left on the board still. Cale Makar 4th. All right, so Irv Bud lucks into McKinnon at pick 5. Terry takes Kaprizov at 6. No shock there. We have seen Makar go at 4. That's not that crazy. Matthews at 7 to Silver Fox. And now Juan on the clock here. See what he does. I mean, Pasternak is the pick unless you want to go goalie with Hellebuck. He takes Pasternak. And then we'll see what Danny does. I think Chris is waiting on a guy we talked about earlier. See if what Danny does here, if he goes goaltending or a wing, or if he maybe grabs a Quinn Hughes. He's taking his time. It is a tough. I can understand with this pick because there's a lot of ways you can go, and it will affect your build here. So you do got to be careful about what you make here towards a pick you make towards the back of the first round here. Takes Brady Tkachuk. Chris is happy about that. That's not a guy he was considering.
Nowhere near consideration, to be honest. There we go. I said nice things about him. So yeah, if I think he's an S-tier player, then he deserves to be the starting of my team.
If you're getting Mikko Rantanen at 10, which is where you can't really be too upset about that. That's where he's been going, and it's really doubtful that he doesn't get you the production of a 10th overall. So Martha on the clock now, and then Terry 2 will turn round 1 and begin round 2.
You think it's just like the same Terry, but drafting in 2 different spots?
I mean, that's why profile photos can be helpful to decipher that, but we'll see. I'm going to say it's the same Terry. Why not? We'll call him Terry 1 and Terry 2. He takes So Kyle Connor goes to Martha, and then Connor Hellebuck rounds out round 1 with pick 12 there. And then to open up the second round, we'll see what Terry does here. I would be surprised if it wasn't Quinn Hughes or Billy Nylander or Jack Eichel or Marner. Those would be the four that I would look at here. Those are my four options. Being on the turn is great, but
a
it's
lot
tough.
of good options there.
He goes double goalie, double dips, takes
Ooh,
Vasilevsky.
wow.
Interesting. There goes Quinn Hughes. So a Connor Hughes pairing from Martha like that with Rantanen as Chris's first pick. I have a feeling I know he's taken here. Yeah, I mean, that's the pick. That's a Rantanen Eichel. It's a good 1-2 punch.
It's a good way to start a draft.
So Danny on the clock here with Brady Tkachuk. We'll see who he pairs him with to open things up.
That double goalie, though, I thought that would. I'm hoping maybe that starts the run, but
I don't mind it, but because you have to draft right the rest of the way, and you have to be careful about defenseman runs. And hey, we talked up Marty Natchez. He all of a sudden goes all the way up in round 2. That's a little early for him from where I've been seeing. There goes Igor Shesterkin, so you may have gotten your goalie run. But Natchez going a little early there, but that's a move that maybe at the end of the year you're like, okay, you got him where he belonged. That could certainly happen.
That is quite early.
So Silver Fox on the clock here with Austin Matthews in his first round pick. He takes Zach Werenski, so he gets his forward D pairing. Kaprizov Nylander, very good 1-2 punch there with Irv Bud 50, who had the luck of McKinnon falling to him at 5th overall. He takes the goalie. He goes goalie with Jake Ottinger. Chris on the clock. Other Chris on the clock now. I got
at least there's a Chris who has a Cale Makar this year.
It's not going to be you.
It's not going to be me, but it's somebody.
So Makar, you got less than 10 seconds here for other Chris to make his pick with Makar, and then I'm on the clock here. I know who I want. I just hope he doesn't take him, and he takes Evan Bouchard. So he double dips on defenseman early.
Wow. Okay.
It's really tough for me to pass on Mitch Marner at the end of the second round. I got to do it. Give me a Draisaitl Marner 1-2. So Kucherov, Tkachuk for Oleg's. Probably did not see the news on Tkachuk because with that 2-month, subtracted from his schedule, he is not a late second round pick unless you have like 5 points for hits in some crazy league. Number 3, who's picking 1 overall, he had McDavid. We'll see what he does with his 2 picks on the turn here. I mean, I'm going to level with you. I have to go defenseman or goaltender here. With both of those runs look like they're going. I'll probably lean defenseman here as Braden Point goes. So he does the center double dip with David and Point. And to open up round 3, we'll see what he does. I don't love going double dip center there. I mean, Braden Point is he's a second round pick, and maybe there's some value there, but with how deep center is.
The problem is they're just center eligibility, right?
Exactly.
There's no wing, so you can gives you some roster movement around. They're pure centermen.
So there goes Mackenzie Blackwood. All right. I'm going to.
Yeah, 3 is not putting together a good team. I think he's aiming for last.
So, oh boy. All right. So Mackenzie Blackwood and Sergei Bobrovsky could go. I'm not going to take part in this goalie run. Give me Rasmus Dahlin. I'd rather get my cornerstone number 1 defenseman and then figure out my goalie situation as things come back here.
Oleg's just avoiding paying taxes completely with the players he's gone with.
He's all Florida.
He has not paid a single state tax right there.
Oh, that's going to be good. There'll be good savings for him, and the players will be happy too with what their take-home pay is later on. As other Chris on the clock here, he double dip with defensemen with Makar and Bouchard. Have to imagine
a third one.
Wow, yes, there it is. There we go. He's trying. You know what?
He's cooking something. I don't know what it is, but he's cooking something.
This is what mock drafts are for, though. To try crazy builds. It's 5:30 Eastern, 5:42 Eastern. Excuse me. Why not? So there we go. Victor Hedman, Artemi Panarin. So picks are moving. Sam Reinhart, Philip Forsberg, Jack Hughes, Matthew Nye. A little early for him for Danny as Chris comes back on the clock here with pick 34.
I mean, if you're gonna give them to me, we'll take them, right?
So he gets one of his wild with Matt Boldy. Martha on the clock here. She gets Crosby at the end of the third round. I think that's great value. As Terry's going to round up round 3 here. We'll see who he takes.
And Danny's got high hopes here for Nyes and Natchez.
Listen, if there's That's boom or bust potential. There's certainly a lot of boom potential with those two guys with what they're going to be counted on to do. There's those Jesper Bratt, quality winger there. Anthony chiming in earlier today. Let's see. I'm getting distracted because they're doing construction. Not Bratt, not in the S tier. No, not in the S tier this year, but maybe next year. So we after Suzuki, Tage Thompson. So Chris gets Tage Thompson early in the 4th round. He's not
Tage Thompson and Matt Boldy. What world am I living in?
For once, Chris is happy with his draft.
What a day!
What a day!
It's a shame this team will never come to fruition, but so far so good.
All right, so 4 picks till it gets back to me. You see Josh Morrissey go after Jake Gensel. I'm glad.
Honestly, I knew it wasn't going past Silver Fox. I knew that. That's what I was looking at. I was looking at you, Craig. I knew it wasn't. I knew if Tage Thompson was there, he wasn't coming around again. So,
all right. So after Silver Fox takes JT Miller, Macklin Celebrini goes. That's a guy I was potentially looking at if he had gotten back to me. Irv Bud took Panarin, Jake Ottinger. And let's see who else he got. So he takes Robertson, Mackenzie Weegar, and there I am. Here I come on the clock. And see who's available. All right. I got a decision to make here. All right. I don't think he's going to make it back to me. Give me Adrian Kempe at the end of the 4th round. A Marner, Kempe. There goes Barkov, and we'll see who rounds up. If I get, there's 2 guys I'd be happy with coming back to me with the Kempe. So we'll see if it happens. Kempe's a good across the board guy. Marner, Kempe at right wing. I'm happy with that. Very happy with that.
It's not only just like their production, the same thing like you said, like he hits as well. And he's a player who can score. So
and he's entrenched in that top line on the Kings and on the top power play unit. So I know they're not looked at as a beacon of offense, but people have to put the puck in the net there, and he's one of them. Ovechkin rounds out round 4, pick 48 overall to number 3, and he's got a pick to make here to open up round 5. So again, there are 2 players I would be ecstatic that gets to me. So as long as he doesn't take one of them, I know I'll get one.
Does Chris have 4 defensemen?
He does. He took Mackenzie Weegar. That's because I came on the clock so quick. We didn't have time to acknowledge that.
This man just locked up every just defenseman. He's just like, I'll take them.
Now I got a decision to make because both of the people I wanted are on the board here, but we preach the importance of defensemen in this league and making sure you have a cornerstone top 2. Darlene and Adam Fox. I'll take that. Looks like maybe a green wave is coming here.
Chris staying true, man. He's only drafting defensemen. That is the wrong Chris, and I think he's doing it the wrong. How many do we start? 4 or 5?
4. So he's got
he's got an extra one just in case.
I always carry a bench defenseman because you should have somebody that rotates in just to make more mileage out of your bench spots. But I mean, man, maybe he's just not going to look at defensemen the rest of the draft. I don't know what he's doing there, if he's just trying to be a rabble rouser. But after him goes Moritz Seider, Tim Stutzla, Jake Sanderson. Juan takes Ilya Sorokin. That's one of the guys I was considering there. I just pass up Adam Fox, who I think is going to be a Norris finalist this year. Mark Scheifele goes pick 9, round 5. Chris on the clock here with, we'll say primary Chris on the clock here with pick 58. He's a happy camper. He's got Thompson, Boldy, Eichel, Rantanen. This is probably his favorite draft. And he gets Lane Hudson. I mean, you better be in a real good mood later. That's all I have to say.
Good day. It's a good day.
Lane Hudson, Aiden Hill. I hope a second goalie run doesn't start here. What's interesting to me, and he's not going to make it back to me so I could talk about him, Connor Bedard could potentially make it into the 6th round here. I know we're not in a keeper league, so obviously that changes his value, and I understand it's Chicago, but man, like if he's still sitting there at this time, like you almost have to take him. And the fact that he's got center and right wing eligibility. There goes Wyatt Johnston ahead of Bedard. Terry.
I had to take a defenseman because I feel like Chris is going to take them all.
So yeah, I have to. What I'll have to do is I'll have to make sure I always take my defenseman on the swing back before him. I take him. Dougie Hamilton goes there to Terry. So Martha on the clock here. She takes Matvei Mishkov again. Connor Bedard just sitting there. Is Chris going to take him? Is he going to pair Thompson with Bedard?
Man.
It's tough to pass up. I know Cole Caulfield's there too. You got a choice to make, my friend.
It's like you can read into my soul. I know, you
Take
can
the
read
full
right
clock
into
here. It's
it.
fine.
Uh,
3. There, he takes Bedard. There goes Hagel. I would be very surprised if your boy makes it back to you.
he
Because I
doesn't.
might take him if he gets all the way
He's
to me.
not. He's not making it back.
There goes
I know
Pedersen. There
that.
goes Cole Caulfield to other Terry.
Yeah,
So
he's
there you
not
go.
making it back. I knew
Irv
that.
Bud 50. See what he does here. There's a player I'd be ecstatic to get if he makes it 3 more picks. Jacob Chikrin, another defenseman for Chris. That's 6.
He's got this figured out, man. He's got a whole team of defensemen. Good for him.
You know, like this kind of like devalues the mock because it takes away what a true, like what you would expect. Give me Dustin Wolf, first of all.
All right, he's throwing a wrench in it. I'm okay with it.
Throwing a wrench in it. So you got to be able to adapt. So after I take Dustin Wolf, Mikhail Sergachev at pick 611, Jordan Kyrou, who's gotten a lot of tire pumping on this show today, close out round 6. Alex DeBrincat opens up round 7. Jacob Markstrom goes, and I'm back on the clock. And it feels like maybe a goalie run could be happening soon. Do I have to take a defenseman here because of what Chris is doing to get my
Chris
D3?
is taking a defenseman. There's no shot he's not. That's all he has lined up. Nothing.
Yeah, but left wing is 2, though. I got to make it. No, fine. Harley. No, wait, I want to pick Thomas before I can make the.
I told you he took a defenseman.
Well, listen, I don't mind Robert Thomas. It's not who I was going to pick there.
I just this was curious because I was looking at him and I didn't want to say anything before anybody take him, but Yahoo has Robert Thomas projected at 96 points. And I'm like, well, I don't know where he's getting all of those from, but
yeah.
Okay.
75, maybe even 80. Sure.
He's got 70. They have him at 70 and then 26 goals. I don't know where he's getting those goals from. I guess it's time. I wanted Thomas Harley. He wasn't coming around again, but I need a goalie now.
I was taking him had I pulled the trigger quicker. There's another defenseman I'd be okay with getting on the way back. I don't think he's going to make it to me, though, but we'll see. So just to kind of recap since my auto pick fiasco, pick 7-3, I take Robert Thomas instead of Harley. Unfortunately, Darnell Nurse to keep the run of defensemen going for other Chris, Nikolai Ehlers, Irv Bud, Darcy Kemper, Anthony Stolarz back-to-back, Sebastian Aho, Danny takes Harley. Chris gets his first goaltender and Logan Thompson, Neil Pionk. And then Dylan Gunter rounds out round 7 as we begin round 8. Pick 85 is Gabe Velarde. That's certainly a little bit of a jump there. There goes Jordan Binnington. So goalie 2s are starting to go. Might be time to act on that with Chris back on the clock here.
So much disrespect for this man. I don't know what he's done, but he deserves more respect.
Yeah, Nico Hischier in the 8th round. I mean, that's tremendous value there. Again, maybe that's somebody. I'm not going to besmirch Robert Thomas because I like him as a player, and I know it's going to help me a lot with assists, but that's not the pick I want to make. And there goes the other defenseman I would have taken, Seth Jones. So there goes Lucas Raymond, Seth Jones, Linus Ullmark, with Irv Bud back on the clock here. And I got to figure out what I'm doing. My pick. There goes Rupe Hintz and Dylan Larkin. And just like that, no defenseman.
I was sure he was going to take another one just in case.
So was I, but apparently not. Let's see here. All right, we talked about this guy today. No, I'm not ready to do that yet. All right, I'm going to do a little early, but I'm taking him. Thomas Hertl. Slightly early, but he's been creeping up in ADP. I've noticed people taking him, around this spot, end of 8th round. Time to go get guys if you want them. There we go. And I'm a little nervous about left wing now. I got Draisaitl and Hertl that could play on the left side, and we know about the center depth there. I'm okay. Now, my question is, am I going goalie 2 or am I going defenseman here? There goes John Carlson.
I was going to say, I'm going to wait to find out what Chris does.
All right. This guy has kind of been going in drafts, and I think this is an appropriate time. Let me get my third defenseman there in Jackson Lacombe. There goes John Tavares. Listen, Lacombe as a D3, great. D2, probably a bit of a stretch. So there goes Seth Jarvis, who was another guy I was considering at that last pick with Hertl. Luke Hughes goes, Kirill Marchenko, Drake Batherson, UC Saros, Chris back on the clock with pick 106. Pick 9-10.
I mean, somebody's got to play defense in Boston, right?
And that's the thing. Like Charlie McAvoy is the other guy. If I was going to take a defenseman there, but I'm going to go with the upside, Lacombe. Things are going to be bad in Boston this year. So if McAvoy's banged up, I could see them being a little cautious with him. Quentin Byfield, he goes there after McAvoy. We'll see what Terry does to round out. He takes Shane Gostisbehere. He's going to be running that. I guess that power. We'll see if he's going to be running the power play in Carolina. Morgan Riley goes, then Logan Stankoven. Chris back on the clock here with pick 10-3 on 11 overall coming up.
Can't let him go another round. He's not coming back.
Ivan Demidov, there's your guy. We talked about him earlier. Maybe he's in that top 25 of ADP for right wings next year. He's going in the 10th round. There, Mox earlier in the summer, he was going as late as like 12, 13, 14, and 12 team leagues. So he's moving up. So keep an eye on that. Zane Parrick there goes for Calgary. Juan back on the clock here with Drake Batherson and Lucas Raymond. So he's getting some of those like bargain find wingers there. And in rounds 8 and 9, that's where you should be getting those guys to fill your wing positions there. So he takes Nazem Kadri, Samuel Montembeault, Eric Carlson, all the picks since then, with Irv Bud 50 on the clock. And I need to get ready for my pick as I am on the clock after Drew Doughty and Kevin Fiala. I don't like the direction goalie's going, and I'm going to rectify that real quickly here. I don't love him as my goalie 2. He's more of a goalie 3, but the way goalies are going, I'm going to take him. Still. There goes Timo Meier, Devin Taves, Alexander Nikishin. I got one more pick here coming up to me.
Damn, Timo Meier was all the way down here.
He's fallen. He needs to prove himself, I think, to a degree.
Falling off the map.
All right, I know who I want if he doesn't get taken here. See if it happens. I've keyed in on him. Be very happy to get him here in round 11. I know my Dostal pick was a reach, but I felt like I wanted to get my goalie 2 locked up before things got out of hand. I'll deal with a goalie 3 later. I mean, JJ Peterka.
Yeah, there you go. Okay.
Very happy. I'm not as happy as Chris with my draft here. It was basically getting everybody. The only negative thing Chris could say about his draft is that he's got a Bruin on his team. That's really it.
It's true. But in my defense, I did take the best defenseman that the Bruins have.
EPA, my friend.
Yeah.
All right. So goalies, the bottom of the bin goalies are starting to go there with Kochetkov, Wall, and Swayman all going. Carter Verhaeghe, Steven Stamkos, Jake Wallman going a little bit higher in drafts. There goes Adam Fantilli. That's another guy whose ADP is climbing. I like Fantilli. I think he could have a big year this year. I think this could be his breakout year. See what Terry 2 does here. Took his last 2 picks were defensemen, one of them being Morgan Riley, other one being Shane Gostisbehere. He's got Dougie Hamilton, so maybe he takes defenseman 4. Goaltender locked up for him. He went Hellebuck Vasilevsky with his top 2 picks. He gets Gabriel Landeskog. And listen, I get the hype on the bounce back for Landeskog and all that, but I don't know about I feel like you need to be more in the teens in terms of rounds to look at a Landeskog versus like end of round 11. But it's also that point in the draft where you go and get the guys you want to get. So
you start to take a risk, see how it pays off.
I won't say there are bad picks at this point in the draft with certain obvious exceptions, but there are things to consider, and this is the time where you really got to figure out, is this guy going to get back to me? Like Aziz Boyum goes, Brock Faber goes, Cam Fowler goes. Here comes another Sia Green, and I need a D4. So it's going to be interesting. There's 2 guys that I'd be happy with my D4 with here. And I'm probably there. One of them just goes to the other Terry, Gustav Forsling, Aaron Ekblad, Alex Tuck. I'm not waiting anymore. Listen, I prefer this guy in a 12-team league to be my bench defenseman, but I'm not going to wait any longer. I want to get my D4 spot wrapped up. Give me Philip Roenick. Putting him next to Hughes has that Devin Taves effect. There goes Joel Eriksson-Ek. That's a strong pick there at 12-11. See how round 12 ends up here. I know who I want if it gets back to me. There's a couple of guys I'd be happy with here, but one I'd be ecstatic to get. See if it happens.
I hope it does for you.
Thank you. I appreciate the positive vibes because I know you're having a good day, so you could easily be a hater.
Fantastic. Fantastic. I
It goes,
don't. I don't even know. I had a piece of paper out to count the number of times I would get sniped. It's
that page is dry.
not a single one on it. Not a single one.
2 players I'd be happy to get here.
Yeah, today was a good day.
Well, I mean, listen, there's still some rounds left.
Yeah, but I feel like it won't hurt as bad now.
A little mini sea of green there. So there goes Bo Horvat. I'll get one of the 2 guys I want. See what happens here with Oleg's. Putting together a squad there. Joel Eriksson, there's Zach Hyman. And yeah, let's do it. Vinny Trocheck going right at his ADP. In the center of that top line, play next to Panarin. I still don't understand why he's going in 13th round in that range. There goes Svechnikov. Thatcher Demko. If I wanted to take a good goalie 3, that could be a goalie 2. I could have gone Demko there, but I didn't. Juan taking Jonathan Quick. Does he have Shesterkin? He's got Sorokin and Shesterkin. Okay, so he's going with the Ranger handcuff there. It's not a necessarily recommended handcuff, but there goes Jet Greaves. So maybe me taking Trocheck over a goalie is going to come back and bite me in the keister here, but we'll see. Sean Dursey goes after Chris takes Jet Greaves. There's still one goalie I'd be happy with if he gets back to me. We shall see, though. There goes Anthony D'Angelo. Interesting pick. I don't mind it if Matthew Schaefer wasn't there. That's what would work. I don't mind the D'Angelo pick because he played well. He was given the opportunity last year. But now with Schaefer there, I mean, yeah, maybe he starts the season running the power play, but I don't think he's going to be running it too long. There goes Logan Cooley, so maybe a guy Chris could potentially consider a snipe, Cole Perfetti, and he takes the aforementioned Matthew Schaefer.
I couldn't let him go around after you said his name. I was like, oh, we're done. he's fine. But I do agree with you though. Like Tony D'Angelo was playing in the KHL at this time last year, and then he just like stumbled into a role because the Islanders had nobody. Right, like he's not a quarterback of a top power play unit. So I just need Schaefer to be an NHL player, and that'd be great.
So I'm 3 picks away after you picked Schaefer, Jonathan Marchessault, Mika Zibanejad, Thomas Chabot, Brad Marchand, Sam Bennett. The Joey Decord pick has forced my hand, even though I was going to hope to wait to get this guy on the turn, but I'll take Karel Vejmelka as my 3rd goalie, and hopefully I get the other player I wanted. Let's see, Rasmus Anderson after Vejmelka, Pavel Buchnevich, Frank Vetrano. Oleg's back on the clock here. Don't take my guy. Don't do it. All right, he didn't. So I'm in good shape now. Now I get this guy who's probably my sleeper pick and a guy that should be getting more attention. Dylan Holloway, center left wing. He gets hits. Took a nice step forward for St. Louis this year. Could grow even more. There goes Freddie Anderson. So Chris at goaltender's got Decord, Anderson, and that's it. So very defensive heavy. Decides to completely punt on goaltending there. That's quite the squad he built.
That is one you don't have to replicate.
No, that's one that you're like, oh, remember when that guy did that?
There's still hope. There's still hope for me here for this man. There's still hope. I'm still begging my soul.
The fact that
Alexi Lafreniere will see top power play minutes.
The fact that he's going, like, listen, I understand why he's going late in drafts, but if he actually puts it together this year, that could be the value pick of all value picks.
Here's a fun trivia question. Do you know how many power play points Alexi Lafreniere has in his career?
You want to do like an over-under?
Sure. Over, under 30.
The way you said that makes me feel under.
It is under. It's actually under 20. He has 16.
He doesn't
in
get
5 years. This is his 6th year in the NHL, by the way.
Yeah, well, I mean,
it's not.
we'll see what Sully does with the power play units this time around. But
I'll take one out of your playbook here for a little bit.
Oh, William Eklund, I like that pick, but I'm not looking at what do I got? So at my last pick, I would look at either defenseman or a right wing, and I'm gonna have to make that pick real soon here. There's 2 left wing, right wing guys I'd be very happy to get, but I do like to carry a 5th defenseman. All right, so if he doesn't get taken, I'll take him. Otherwise, I'll go 4D. There's one defenseman he just went Noah Hannafin. I should have shut my mouth. Is Irvbud 50 watching? Because like at this point,
I feel like this. I feel like you are me from a couple of weeks ago.
All right, fine. You know what? I still have Valerie Nichushkin on the board, and I still have Owen Tippett on the board. I'm gonna have to take Nichushkin. That's fine. All right, so let's recap our teams here. I promise I'm happier with my team than my current tone of voice would suggest. But like, I was like very close to having like I don't want to say a perfect draft because my goalie 2 and 3 could be better, but just very, very, very happy with the overall build. Instead, all right, let's do your team.
How the turntables have turned.
Oh, I have a turntable. All right, there we go. So Chris, pick 10. You start with Rantanen. Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with Mikko Rantanen. Jack Eichel going exactly where I think he should be going. And then I was gifted 2 players. Probably Chris throws this off a little bit, but listen, when life gives you lemons, you make, you share it with tequila. So I took Matt Boldy and Tage Thompson. I knew Thompson wasn't coming around. I needed a defenseman. That run a defenseman. I would have preferred to take Sorokin at that spot, but I didn't get a chance. I saw defensemen starting to go. I was like, okay, let me at least get one. So I got Lane Hudson there. Connor Bedard, I was kind of like bullied into it by you. But I feel like that's okay. Logan Thompson, I needed a goalie, only makes sense. Nico Hischier is just criminally being undervalued here. So I don't know why.
All summer long, he's just not.
I don't know what he's done, man. When Hughes was out, like he took over, and he was hurt twice last year, and he still put up really good numbers. So Charlie McAvoy just makes sense. A little bit of a reach on Ivan Demidov, but never too early to pick the rookie of the year. Carter Verhaeghe's not getting enough love. He is going to skate on that top line with Kachuk out as well. There's a top power play spot with his name on it. He signed a big deal last year. Not a great year. I think he bounces back. Then I got Bouillon. I'm falling more in love with Bouillon and what I think the Minnesota Wild are going to do and how they're going to deploy him. Brock Faber went just before. I got lucky. I needed a goalie here because some of them were starting to go. Jet Greaves, it's not where I want it to be, but that's where we are. And then I take Schaefer. My defense group is extremely young. Probably not going to score many goals, but I locked that up earlier in the draft. So I feel like I don't need my defenseman to go out and contribute high offensively. I just need them to exist. I hope Schaefer makes the team. If he doesn't, well, it is what it is. And then I'm banking on upside here. Alexi Lafreniere and William Eklund. I expect both players to skate on the top line. I expect both players to be on the top power play unit. So I'm banking on a couple of things that need to happen during training camp. If they do, that is great value at the end of the draft for 2 guys who are going to see a bump in every single offensive category, assuming they hold on the roles that they should have.
Now, I'll say this. If you asked me if I was, and I don't get hockey jerseys with players on the back anymore. I feel like once you get to a certain age, you stop doing that. But if I was going to, Askarov or William Eklund, the Sharks. Eklund is just a complete all-around player. He's not going to lead the team in scoring. That's not his job, but he's going to put the puck in the net. He's going to do all. He's an all-around 200-foot player that is far from a liability on offense. So I love Eklund. So I think that's a pretty good draft you had there. The first time, it only took till September 18th, 2 weeks before the season, for you to get to a point where you are happy with your mock draft. Now we'll do mine, and then we'll do Silver Foxes, because that guy just, he puts on clinics every week. May as well give it a little spotlight. Let's do my team here. And I like I said, I came very close to a perfect draft, or a draft I could be completely happy with. So it was not, I didn't expect to have to make a decision between Draisaitl and McKinnon, but I figured one of those guys would be left. But again, because Draisaitl has that left wing eligibility, and because I'm, my philosophy has shifted over the last few weeks here, that left wing is definitely top heavy, and once it goes, it goes. That was the deciding factor. Mitch Marner, the end of the second round. How can I turn down a guy that's going to be playing next to Jack Eichel? I mean, come on now. Defensemen are, the first 4 were off the board. If I had waited another round, I would not have been happy with what got back to me, especially once you're anticipating that Chris is doing his, shenanigans there with going like defenseman with his 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 first 7 picks. Doesn't look at it again the rest of the draft. So I get Dahlin, which was a good move. I had a decision to make with, I almost took Fox there, but because I was worried these guys might grab a defenseman, but I was like, you know what? I want Kempe bad enough, and it worked out for me because Fox fell back to me. Almost took Sorokin there instead. Once I had gotten Kempe, I was like, all right, I'll take Fox or Sorokin. I rolled the dice that I could maybe wait a little more on goalie, and it worked out. Because listen, Dustin Wolf, I'm in on Dustin Wolf. He's not a guy I'm zealously targeting in drafts, but he's certainly a guy I'm okay with being my goalie one, just because I know Calgary has basically, without saying it, he's their guy. They're gonna, unless he plays miserable or unless he's hurt, they're gonna trot him out there 4 out of every 5 nights. Then we had my auto pick fiasco there, where I was going to take Thomas Harley as my defensive 3, but I just waited too long to click pick, and ended up with Robert Thomas. Which, the way my team worked out, I'm okay with that, because Robert Thomas ends up becoming my center 1, or actually my center 2 behind Draisaitl. The way thing, no, he would be my center 1, and then Trocheck would be my center 2. Peterka would be my first guy on the bench. So then I get Robert Thomas there. Hurdle, he's a guy who's been creeping up more and more on drafts because he's going to be he's going to center that second line in Vegas there. He's got left wing eligibility. Then Jackson Lacombe, I knew I needed to, even though I knew that I was safe from Chris taking defenseman, you'll start to see a lot of green here once we get into the 7th round with Harley, Pionk, Montour, Jones, Dunn, Carlson. Look at a lot of this green here as we go from round 9 to round 12. I feel like I'm a meteorologist saying, look at all this green. And again, those still in the 10th rounds of reach, but the way goalies were going, Montembeault Montembeault and Binnington are the guys I really want as my goalie too. And if you get beyond that, then I think I got to hit the panic button a little bit. Sure, I could take a Swayman on a bounce back. I could take a Demko, but he's injury prone. I could take a Kochetkov because we know Freddie Anderson's injury prone. I don't want to play that game with Carolina. I think Dostal's going to break out this year. Glenville's definitely going to have a better defensive system in place, so I think that's fine. JJ Peterka, love that value in the 11th round there. Phil Peronic is my defenseman 4. Happy with that. Trocheck would have almost jumped out of my chair. I was probably going to take Dylan Holloway here, but once Decord went, I said, okay, I can't wait anymore on the goaltender because I don't. After Vejmelka, that's it. That's my floor for goalies 1, 2, 3. Beyond Vejmelka, I don't want anybody. And then Holloway, I think, is criminally going too late in the 15th round, so please scoop him up while you can. And Valerie Nichushkin in the 16th round. Come on now.
No, that's a good team. That's a good team.
Now we got 3 minutes and change here. Let's go to the Silver Foxes team. As like I said, the guy always puts on really strong drafts. Austin Matthews pick 7. Nothing wrong with that. Pairs him with Werenski. Certainly not an uncommon pairing there for Matthews Werenski 1-2. Gets Philip Forsberg in the 3rd round. He's a guy I'm kind of avoiding just because I'm a little snake bitten based on the way Nashville played last year and just the way things got. But he could easily bounce back and have a strong campaign. He is one of the top wingers out there.
That is a ton of shot volume, though. In those 3 picks, he has shot volume from 3 players on 3 different positions. So.
Listen, he's got a strong draft here through the first 4 rounds. You can't say anything about that. Gets Jake Sanderson there. Again, run on defenseman going. If you don't, Lane Hudson doesn't get a lot of goals. Maybe you think he's going to have a sophomore slump. Sanderson's a solid pick there. And then you see Sergachev go not too much late. Then you see that run on defenseman there. Sergachev's, we all know how much I love him. But after Sanderson, there goes Elias Pettersson in the 6th round, which probably, that's probably going to, at the end of the year, that's probably where his value will line up. I know you're not high on him having a bounce back year. I just think going into Vancouver with a clean slate this year, no JT Miller saga in the locker room, I think that helps with Pettersson. He gets his first goalie there with Anthony Stolars, and then later on gets Joseph Wall. So he gets the Leafs handcuff, which is if you're going to handcuff goalies, you got to do the Leafs. And listen, Samuel Montembeault, I like that goalie group there. Seth Jones, I might have taken had Hurdle if he had made it that far because of the way defensemen were going and because of my snafu with Harley, excuse me. So definitely love the Seth Jones pick. Kirill Marchenko gets a little overlooked there, but going to be on that right wing in the top line in Columbus probably. We talked about that. Tom Wilson, everybody's favorite. Listen, it's a banger league. Tom Wilson's going to do that for you. And he scores too. So
as long as he doesn't get suspended, he's going to throw hits. So you're fine.
Dorofeev from Vegas. We'll see what his power play role is this year. Thomas Shabbat. So he's double dipping on the Senators defenseman there. I don't mind that because we really don't know who the top dog is going to be there with Sanderson and Shabbat. And they're both fantasy viable defensemen either way. So if you're going to own one, you can kind of own, but you can make it a key to own both. And I don't mind that. Kent Johnson there. He goes big on Blue Jackets there as a 15th round pick. Also, a guy that has triple position eligibility, I believe, which helps, along
Yes.
with like a Pavel Buchnevich and a Seth Jarvis. He's on that list as well. Then Bowen Byram as your bottom defenseman there. You know, he's going to play in the top pairing in Buffalo. He plays next to Darlene. You know, I don't mind that in the end of the round. Again, my only thing there is really being like, I don't listen. Chushkin as a consolation prize in round 16. I'm fine with. I'm not bitter about it at all. But that Hannafin pick would have made it perfect.
I'm not bitter about it,
but
yeah, not bitter about it. No. Again, Silver Fox is putting on, you know, a man doing his homework. Unfortunately, you love to see it. It's just unfortunate that he's going to have to do it against both of us.
So there we go. There's the mock draft in the books. That's another 12-teamer. Those are always fun to do. One last look at the board there as we scroll down. Chris, happy for the first time. I promise I'm happy with the draft. Again, sometimes you get a little greedy and you want it all. You don't get it all, but you want it all. So there we go. Mock draft 10 in the books. Chris, that was a good one. We enjoyed that.
No, it was good. Yeah. No, listen, I'm ecstatic. I don't know about you. I'm having a blast.